National Grid. I'm here today
For what?
to film National Grid.
Who for? Who says you can film us round here?
Me. I just got my zoom camera
Right.
and I'm going to do some filming down there.
Why?
Down there, and then I'm going to get my drone up and put my
why?
drone over. What?
That's private property.
No, this isn't. This is
No, that's private property in there, and you says you've got to put the drone in there, and
yeah.
you're filming in there.
Yeah,
Why? For what
why.
reason?
it's interesting.
Okay.
So I'm going to film and put my drone over.
Yeah, can you not film me, please?
Sorry?
Can you not film me?
Will you come out to me?
Yeah, because I'm telling you. Just don't film me, please.
Yeah. I'm just doing a little video.
I've already asked this guy to stop filming. Okay. He's now got a drone inside our property. Can you sort it out?
From the very beginning, the worker shows a clear misunderstanding of the law by claiming the auditor has no right to fly a drone above private property. But in the UK, owning land does not mean owning unlimited airspace above it. The skies are considered public airspace and fall under the control of the Civil Aviation Authority. Provided the drone operator follows legal height restrictions and safety regulations, the flight remains entirely lawful. When the worker demands police involvement, arguing that the drone entered private property, he is confusing physical trespass with lawful use of public airspace. Simply flying or recording above privately owned land is not trespassing in any legal sense. Land ownership applies to the property itself, not the unrestricted airspace overhead.
Right, sir, do you mind if we have a chat quickly? Do you mind
Not
if
at the
you...
moment. I'll bring my drone down.
That's fine, yeah, it's okay if
And
you
then we
land your
can
drone
chat,
safely.
yeah?
Okay.
So what can I do for you? I'm doing...
So, this is an emergency response building for the police and different units within the police.
Oh, right,
Okay.
yeah.
I will have to require your ID and stuff. As it is an emergency, it isn't permitted for drones to be flying with camera capabilities with a view into our car park.
Who
Do you
told you
understand that?
No?
Do you understand what I'm saying?
No.
Right, okay, but your drone has camera capabilities, I've seen that from your device,
Oh,
yeah?
yeah.
Okay, this is an emergency hub for the police, okay?
Yeah.
It's not permitted in a zone for any drones with camera capabilities to be flying near it.
Who said that?
Okay, my supervisor.
No.
Well, she did, so it's not...
Would you educate you?
Next, an officer wrongly informs the auditor that flying near a police car park is prohibited simply because the drone is equipped with a camera. That claim has no legal foundation. Under UK aviation rules, recording a police car park from the air is not automatically unlawful as long as the drone is operated safely and within the regulations set by the Civil Aviation Authority. The officer attempts to defend his position by saying he was following instructions from a supervisor, but internal directions do not override national aviation law. Drone operations are governed solely by the Civil Aviation Authority, not by personal interpretations or unofficial policies. This moment exposes a common issue in enforcement, where assumptions and misinformation are treated as law. In this case, the auditor is acting fully within his legal rights, and the confusion only reinforces the importance of proper education and training around drone legislation.
She's looking at the legislation now.
Would you like me to tell you the legislation?
I don't want you to tell me
No,
the
it's okay,
legislation.
we'll-
Can I require your ID? Would you be willing to give me that?
What I do?
What, for yourself, sir? Do you carry any ID, driver's license, passport, etc.?
I'm not going anywhere. I'm not
That's
driving
fine. People
license. I'm not
carry them
driving.
around.
I'm not going on holiday.
Do you have any identification to say you can be flying the drone? Drone license?
No.
The officer then turns the discussion toward identification, questioning the auditor about whether he has a passport, driving license, or drone operator credentials. But the line of questioning quickly falls apart. The auditor points out that he is not driving a vehicle, not crossing any borders, and under no legal obligation to carry identification in this situation. The officer continues pushing, now focusing on a supposed drone license requirement, once again showing confusion about the actual law. In simple terms, the officer appears to be searching for powers he does not legally possess, attempting to pressure the auditor into producing documents that are not required under the circumstances.
Can I have a make and model of your drone? Is that okay?
Yeah.
And what is that, sir?
It's a Mini 3.
A Mini 3?
Yeah.
Is that the make? What's the model?
No, Mini 3.
Oh, it
DJI.
is.
DJI Mini 3.
DJR. Thank you. Does it have audio capability, sir?
No.
It's just camera quality. Does it have any different camera specifications on it, heat mapping, etc.? So it's just a regular camera?
It's a little plastic toy.
That's fine, sir, but you have to realise you are flying it over what potentially is a very dangerous place for a drone to be flying over, a national grid hub with electric components in it, which if your drone gets struck or crashes down could cause a disaster for the surrounding area, as well as an emergency department with radio towers and electronic capabilities that could also be affected by your drone. Okay, if you lose control. Well, yes,
Lose
sir.
control.
It can. Well, I don't know, sir. It can be from electrical fault, mechanical fault, your own fault, or an atmospheric fault. It could come down and cause a problem.
You don't know enough about drones, officer.
At this point, the officer begins insisting on identification and proof of a drone license, but neither demand is actually justified. The auditor is operating a DJI Mini 3, a drone weighing under 250 grams, and under UK regulations, aircraft in this category do not require the pilot to hold a formal drone license to fly recreationally within the rules. On top of that, police officers cannot simply demand identification without reasonable suspicion that a crime has been committed. Flying a lightweight drone in lawful public airspace does not automatically create that suspicion. The auditor refuses correctly, drawing attention to how the officer is attempting to apply stop and identify powers without a valid legal basis. Rather than addressing an actual offense, the officer appears to be enforcing rules that simply do not exist under the law.
Yeah.
Oh,
You said
that's
you
fine.
didn't want
Yeah,
to be
but
educated.
then you said you wouldn't. So please educate me
Well,
about the legislation.
What do you want me to do? It's legal. It's legal.
It's not legal because it's not permitted on these premises, sir.
Yeah. This is a public accessible road.
This is a public accessible road. However, you are in a vicinity with a drone with camera capabilities that can see within there.
Well, actually, I didn't put it in there. But
However, your drone was up and you've been in this area.
However, let me educate you on that. Despite I'm saying I haven't been there, I'm allowed. It's perfectly lawful. Where are you going?
I'm not going anywhere. I'm talking to my supervisor. Please don't ask me that.
At this point, the officer changes direction and argues that flying near a national grid site could create a serious safety risk. He paints a scenario where the drone could crash and potentially cause major damage. But the argument quickly loses weight when you consider the technology involved. The DJI Mini 3 comes fitted with advanced safety systems, including GPS-assisted stability, automatic return-to-home functions, obstacle detection, and emergency landing protections, all specifically designed to minimize the chance of accidents. This is a classic example of authorities relying on hypothetical, what-if situations to challenge an activity that is otherwise completely lawful. Of course, safety matters, but imagine worst-case scenarios are not enough to cancel rights that are clearly protected under existing law. In this situation, the drone flight is not only legal, but also presents a very low level of actual risk.
So why were you filming on the national grid?
It's interesting, isn't it?
Okay, but obviously they asked you to stop.
Yeah.
Why didn't you?
Because I go round filming industrial sites.
Which I can completely understand. But if they've asked you to stop filming,
I didn't go in.
No, I know you
I'm
didn't
staying
go
out on
in.
the public area.
I know, but you're filming over on their land, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when they ask you to stop, you have to stop.
Who says so?
It's in legislation, and I'll be honest, I don't know the legislation from the top of my head. That's why we're speaking to our supervisors that's looking into the legislation.
It's not in legislation.
Yeah, but that's why we're getting our supervisors to check legislation. Because I'll be honest, I don't deal with drones. I don't really know drones. We have a specific team that deal with
know,
drones.
you have a drone unit.
Exactly. So obviously, I'm not capable to be able to.
I know you have a
Do you
drone
have your
unit.
drone ID operating license on you?
No, I don't need to show you that.
Yeah, but you do if you're flying
No.
it in a premises like this.
No, I don't.
And also, I'm pretty sure it's legislation, but you should be able to present it to any law enforcement officer.
The situation escalates further when the officer bluntly claims that flying a drone in the area is illegal. But that statement is completely unsupported. The auditor immediately challenges the assertion, pointing out that there are no Civil Aviation Authority restrictions in place at this location. The CAA does impose strict no-fly rules around sensitive areas such as airports, prisons, military bases, and major public events, but this site does not fall into any of those protected categories. By insisting otherwise, the officer is stretching his authority beyond its limits, acting as though he has control over regulated airspace when he does not. What stands out most is the shift in his attitude. At the start of the interaction, he seemed open to discussion, but once the auditor corrected him on the law, his tone became increasingly defensive. Instead of acknowledging the facts, he appears more focused on preserving his authority and avoiding embarrassment.
And I
Saying
put
that your
my drone up,
was in the aerospace of a private
and you're
airline.
allowed.
I know, I fully
You're
get
allowed.
that. However, you have to take in risk factors.
Yeah.
There's people here who don't want to be filmed. Have you got their consent to be filmed?
I'm out here in the public area.
Yes, that's fine, but
Yeah.
there were people
The
out there
drone
like
is
that,
not-
Mel,
the drone
who
is not-
could have been videoed.
The drone is not
It's
being.
public
He's not
courtesy
videoing.
just to ask. Yeah, but it has
And-
video capabilities, does
And
it
do you
not?
know what I did when I got here?
Did you ask for everyone's
I
consent?
buzzed them and said, just to let you know, everyone. Did you know that? I contacted them.
I'm well aware though, but
Yeah.
a Mel has just come out very angrily saying,
Well, you're saying
you're
that
here.
I can't video that on top of the.
During one key moment, the officer insists that the auditor provide a drone operator ID, stating that it is legally required. In this instance, the officer is on solid ground. Under the Air Navigation Order 2016, Article 94D, drones equipped with cameras, including lightweight models such as the DJI Mini 3, must be registered with the Civil Aviation Authority. The operator ID is required to be displayed on the drone itself, and both police officers and CAA officials have the legal authority to request proof of that registration. Although the auditor has correctly challenged several inaccurate claims throughout the encounter, this is one area where his understanding appears incomplete. It serves as an important reminder that while auditors can expose mistakes made by law enforcement, they also carry the responsibility of staying fully informed on the finer details of current drone regulations.
Police station. Okay, we have sensitive information in police stations. We have people that park their personal cars in police stations, and obviously that could be quite dangerous if that information gets out about what car we drive, our registrations, things like that. So we have to be able to protect ourselves, because at the end of the day, this is just a job, isn't it?
Officer,
Yeah.
I'm allowed to film.
Listen to
Above
me,
the police
okay?
station.
You're not
I
allowed
am
if there's
allowed.
sensitive information in there, okay?
And you should keep that concealed.
Which we do. But at the end of the day, if you were a victim, okay, you wouldn't want to be filmed by somebody, would you?
Who am I filming?
I'm not saying you're filming anybody, but I'm just saying if you were a victim and you wanted to come here and do a statement or give anything to the police, you wouldn't want to be filmed, would you? Okay, I know I certainly wouldn't want to be filmed. Okay, so we have to keep the best interests of everyone. And I understand you find all of this interesting, that's
It's
fine.
interesting.
But it's a police station, okay? Like, if you were going into a police station, like I said, you wouldn't want to be filmed. I certainly don't want my personal car being filmed and being put all over the internet when this is just my...
The discussion then shifts away from legal facts and into personal emotions. The officer argues that filming someone from a public place could become unlawful simply because the person feels uncomfortable or offended. But that is not an accurate reflection of UK law. In public spaces, individuals generally do not need consent to film, even when others dislike being recorded. Legal rights are not determined by someone's emotional reaction. The officer points to the worker's frustration as though it somehow proves misconduct, but being upset does not automatically make an activity illegal. By placing feelings above clearly established legal principles, the officer blurs the true limits of his authority. The right to record in public is protected by law, and that protection does not disappear just because another person objects to being filmed.
They park their cars all
Yeah,
along here.
yeah.
Their cars are parked along here.
Yeah.
Okay, so they don't want to be filmed when leaving work and that be put all over the internet, because that can become quite dangerous to people that hate the police and want to cause us harm. Okay,
No one hates the police.
well, there's certain people that do, and I can completely understand why they do. Okay,
I'm not filming no one. No one's leaving work. I'm
But
not
you've
filming.
got a
I'm
drone
filming the drone.
yeah, but you've got a drone up that covers quite, I'm guessing, a lot of coverage around on the floor. Obviously, I don't know. I don't fly drones. I don't know what a drone really does. Okay.
You should.
But I don't, because
Right.
I'm not on the drone team, so I wouldn't know. I'm on response, so that means I respond to 999 calls.
Yeah.
That's my speciality.
A second officer then steps into the discussion, bringing up the possibility of vulnerable victims visiting the police station who may not want to be recorded. She explains that if she were in that position, she personally would not want to be filmed. While the concern may come from a place of empathy, it still does not alter the legal reality. Personal discomfort, even in hypothetical situations, is not enough to override the public's right to film in publicly accessible spaces. This kind of reasoning reflects a growing pattern where lawful activity is challenged based on imagined outcomes rather than actual breaches of the law. Police officers are not there to regulate emotions or enforce personal opinions. Their responsibility is to apply the law fairly and accurately, not to restrict rights based on speculation or subjective feelings.
To come out and have a chat with you, and that's what we're doing.
Okay.
So we haven't actually had any calls.
Okay.
We've just been told that someone was outside.
Yeah. So everything's good.
But
I'm
we
doing
do
my
need your
drone.
details. Under Section 50 of the Police Reform Act, I'm requiring you to give me your details.
Hang on. Before you go any further, Constable, Section 50 of the Police is antisocial behaviour.
Yeah.
Now, I'm in a public area.
You are in a public area, however, it's caused
Right.
upset to people.
No,
They've come out
I brought it
arguing.
down.
The second officer then claims that recording vehicles inside a police car park could put officers at risk. Yet moments later, she openly admits that she does not know much about drone legislation. That contradiction speaks volumes. It reveals officers attempting to challenge lawful behavior while acknowledging they lack a clear understanding of the rules themselves. More than anything, it highlights the urgent need for proper training before trying to enforce regulations. Instead of relying on verified law, broad safety concerns are treated as though they automatically justify restrictions. But speculation alone carries no legal weight. In situations like this, the law must take priority over assumptions, fears, or personal interpretations.
I need you to require you to give me your
Can
details.
I just say that your inspector
Yeah.
and your chief constable
Yes, Sarah Crew.
will not be happy if you misuse your powers
I could get my
under
inspector
Section
out here if
50.
you like.
Please, I've not committed any antisocial behaviour, and you know full well that Section 50 is designed for antisocial behaviour, and we know where it is in town centres or in car parks with kids on bikes and motorbikes
It's
and
not
cars.
just for that, but yeah.
People committing antisocial behaviour. I'm a law-abiding citizen.
No, we're not saying
doing
you're
my-
not at all.
Okay, I'm doing my drone
How
flying.
about, why don't I get my inspector out here if you feel more comfortable?
Brian,
Yeah.
it's,
No, he
it'd
wants-
be fine. Do you want our inspector?
he asked.
Okay, that's fine.
The second officer goes on to argue that filming vehicles inside a police parking area could somehow compromise officer safety. But only moments later, she admits she has very little understanding of drone regulations. That inconsistency is hard to ignore. It exposes a situation where officers are attempting to limit a lawful activity while lacking confidence in the laws they are referring to. More than anything, it underlines how important proper education and training are before attempting to challenge or enforce drone-related rules. Rather than relying on clear legislation, the conversation shifts toward broad and unsupported safety concerns being presented as justification. But assumptions and hypothetical risks are not the same as enforceable law. In situations like this, legal standards must come before personal fears or uncertain interpretations.
Just giving you some words of advice. So I have spoke to our drone unit, so
Yeah.
you know that's who I was on
Yeah.
the call to. You are permitted to fly here. That's all I wanted to check. Okay. I don't require any ID.
Okay.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you cooperating and landing
Yeah.
your drone for us. Okay. So all I'll say though is we do have cars and vans here that are on response calls, doing 999 calls. I understand that you'll be down on your remote if you are filming. Just keep in mind for that. Sometimes we don't put sirens on straight away. Just due to public noise pollution, so keep an eye out. Okay, obviously we don't want you injured, obviously we'll try as well, but in an emergency obviously it can run. Okay, do you understand that?
Yeah, I understand.
Right, all I say is I appreciate that, however I don't want any sort of fights breaking out. So if they start shouting at you, mate, just
I'm going to move
off a
away.
bit. Yeah, mate, exactly.
I'm being
All right.
sensible. I'm just flying my hobby.
I understand that at all. Thank you for cooperating with us. What I want to say is just keep mindful, obviously, if they start shouting and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Let's back off and just keep mindful of these roads as well. You were on a public road.
Yeah.
Stick to pavement, stick
Okay.
to public footpaths, okay? And keep safe, all right?
Thank you, officers.
No worries, thank you.
Thank you.
At this stage, even the first officer appears uncomfortable with the direction the conversation is taking. He cuts in and challenges his colleague, seemingly aware that she has gone too far. It's rare to see one officer openly step in against another during an interaction like this, which only emphasizes how questionable the Section 50 argument had become. Although he made several mistakes earlier in the encounter, he now seems to recognize that her approach could push the situation into unlawful territory. His reaction highlights just how excessive and misplaced her interpretation of the law had become.